Eyes gently closed. Shift your attention to the center of the eyebrows, the Jyotishmati, the light of awareness within. Let's begin today's session with an opening chant. Om Sahana Vavatu Sahanau Bhunaktu Sahaviryam Karavavahai Tejasvinavaditamastu Ma Vidvishavahai. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Let's offer our salutations to Sage Patanjali. Yogena Chittasya Padena Vacha Malam Shariram Cha Vaidyakena Vyopakarotam Pravaram Muninam Patanjalim Pranjali Ranatosmi. Welcome everyone for our continued study of Patanjali Yoga Sutra. So in the last session on Saturday, we introduced one of the most profound topic that relates to yoga, which is the topic of Samyama. Samyama is the ultimate, the control or the total control that we all could retain to with our continued practice of Samyama. Does anybody would want to reflect on your interpretations and reflections, Samyama, or how we could potentially get into that? Anybody? Sunilji? Or Savitaji?
It's okay. So
please. I mean, it's more of a, there is no right or wrong answer. It's more of your interpretations.
My takeaway was that, how do I put it? Sorry, I have to think through the whole, maybe I'll go after Sunilji. Sunilji, please go ahead.
Sunilji, any thoughts from you? Sorry, we can't hear you. I don't know if you're talking or if you're on mute.
Actually, the audio, I think the audio is not available. Maybe.
Oh, I see. For Sunilji, I see.
Yeah, so probably just maybe he's.
Anybody else would want to share your? Okay.
Sorry, I'll go back again. After Ramakanth ji spoke last time, I felt that maybe I'm making it complicated, maybe contemplating too much into of the how to and the steps on other things. And just, I do believe in surrender to the whole process. So I think I need to bring, I felt after Ramakanth ji spoke is like, how come he got it? It's like, how come he got it and how come I can't get it? You get into that.
I see.
That is like, the mind automatically goes into, okay, what are the steps? What are, like, the, how do you say, the logical minds take over, mind take over. And, but I realize it's just, it's a process and there is no end or beginning to it. But I just was observing my mind saying, oh, how come he has it and I don't have it, kind of a thing. That's the first, how do you say, reaction. Not a response, it was a reaction. And I'm trying to observe those things now. It's like, oh, it was more of a reaction and not was a thing. And yeah, so that was one of the thing I was contemplating throughout the week, saying, okay, where all can I surrender instead of just where my mind gives me saying, oh, these are the steps, I need to do these steps or to get there. Instead of that, just enjoy the process or just don't look at end and the beginning and it's all blur. Just continue doing it. So that was one of the biggest thing I was contemplating over this weekend.
Yeah. Samhitaji, I mean, actually, you mesmerize me the way you do indulge in more of your own swadhyaya, self-study. It's actually the way you put it. Where is the beginning? Where is the end? It's just a process. You just let it begin. And any thoughts about, I think, looking at the how or why, just simply get to like what it is. I mean, you define it as surrender, but, can you plug it back to like Patanjali's definition of what is Samyama? Just what is it?
I just Samyama. I'm not able to get to that there yet, to be honest with you. It's just
I see.
as I said.
Yeah, I think to add to
Yeah,
her, I also, I mean, like honestly, till now, I know when we were doing these yoga camps 30 years back, I know folks were talking about Samyama. Never really pondered then. In fact, even now, right now on the call, I honestly did not really read through those shlokas about Samyama. I mean, Dharana plus the Dhyana and Samadhi is called Samyama and all that. But to be very honest, like Savitaji, right? I have no clue about what that Samyama is all about. All I know is, like I said last time, this sugar crystal that was put onto your tongue and you just know it is sweet. Beyond that, honestly, I do not even know. I do not know anything about its applications and no definitions also, honestly. So in fact, I need to spend some time knowing what it is in the place. So to be very honest. So Savitaji, please go ahead. So we are both in the same boat. That's the first thing I want to let you know.
I'm definitely not in your boat. For sure I know that. You are already on the island or out of the island.
The understanding, right? The understanding of it, I do not know.
It's like one of the meditation. My logical mind takes over very fast and I'm trying to separate it, to be honest with you. And like if I look at Samyama, I can say, okay, Dharana plus this and this plus this can become Samyama with asana and everything. But as I said, I've started doing yoga. The journey has been nice. I'm doing every day now. So just enjoying even the meditation, to get into the meditation, get into the pranayama. Took a while. So now I don't think at 6 o'clock, I just stand on the mat to do that. So the more I think, how am I going to achieve this? I feel my logical brain will say, it will put on a to-do list, which I don't want it to be as a to-do list. That's my thing. So just go, let the body lead me to or mind, whatever it is, lead me to that place. That's what I'm taking, like getting up in the morning or whatever it is, everything I'm trying to go through the flow comes from inside instead of outside in. That's the thing. But otherwise, Samyama, I'm still lost, to be honest with you. I don't know. I'm not even looking into going to Samyama or get out of Samyama.
I see. And we kind of lose the perspective of either inside out or outside in, right? Both deductions kind of seem the same thing, right? I think, the way I think, Ramakanth, you put it so beautifully, which is like, sometimes, Samyama can also be referred to like this intuitive power, right? Which is like, you put a sugar crystal inside and then, you just know that what it is, right? So and even actually, if you were to refer back to the Patanjali Yoga Sutra, right? What Patanjali said is Trayam Ekatva Samyama, which is what, Ramakanth was saying, the simultaneous application of the full ekagrata, dharana, and the dhyana and samadhi in the pursuit of any one object. When you simultaneously apply all the three things, that's when Samyama results. That's when total control results. That's when excellence results, right? Samyama is the secret for excellence. So that's basically what we kind of, talked about it. And that's when, we ended up with Tajayat Prajna Lokaha. That's when we actually access the new levels of perception. Right now our perception is limited by the chitta, the sensory and this stuff. So we started accessing the deeper and levels of perception And that is what we would have access to. And that's where sometimes people refer that to as intuitive powers, and you just know it. You just know it. But for that, like what you're doing is probably the right thing. What like what Patanjali said, how do we actually get there? Abhyasa vairagya abhyam tannirodha. So it actually comes down to the regular practice of abhyasa, and then maintaining this vairagya, including for samyama. Vairagya is patience and not really look for something. You just be there, and then you just keep doing what you're doing with the intense dharana, the ekagrata, and then with the dhyana, and then that ekagrata leads to that being the tatra pratyaya ekatanata dhyana. So whatever you're pursuing, that becomes the continuous flow of images and nothing else. And then eventually you lose your own identity. So tadeva ardhamatra nirbhasham swarupa shunyameva samadhi. So it's just like keep doing what we are doing, but if we can anchor it down to one thought, whatever you're trying to pursue in that moment, if that becomes the only thing that remains, and then whatever you're doing, that becomes the samyama. You become that. So I think that's kind of my interpretation of what that is, and in terms of how are we going to get there or not get there. It's just like vairagyam. That's what it is. We just have to do our own thing, and then let things fall in place, right? So with that, now we have our guru here, Ramakanth. So
no, not at all. So Kanika ji, I also wanted to know, Kanika ji wanted to share something, because this topic, when we get in, it becomes a flow, and then there'll be some more questions and all. So I wanted to have Kanika ji finish. Then I think we'll pick up, if that is okay.
Yeah, we can actually. So Kanika ji, would you have some charts? The way I told everybody in the thing is, first, why don't you lead with your thing, and then Kanika ji will add her power of manifestation.
Okay.
Would that work? Sure, or Kanika ji, do you want to go first?
Sure.
Way. Yeah.
I can go first. I apologize. I don't have any charts. I do want to start with possibly questions, maybe a few questions. And I think that will help me to understand everyone's perspective. And then that we can lead into further conversation. And next time around, I can provide, presentation or whatever that would help to flow the conversation better. So
that's one quick thing. If you don't mind, and if it's your preference, if you wouldn't mind, if you could open up your video so that way people would know exactly who you are.
Sure.
Yeah. And then please continue.
I guess my I don't want to say the word manifestation, because I think it's a little bit how do I say it, that's the end of what we receive, right? So what I'd like to say is, or ask the question to everyone is, how do you perceive your mind? How much do you know? It's more of a power of a mind game, right? So do you think life is happening for you or to you?
Life is happening to you.
I'd like to know the answer. Whoever wants to give me answers.
So can I?
Yeah, go ahead.
I actually believe now the universe is colluding against me to do the right thing for me. So I believe it's actually life is happening for me. The universe is colluding against me to do the right thing for me.
Okay.
So that's one.
Priya here. I think it's a bit of both. But what happens, I started out being this kid who used to pray for things, right? You're grateful, but then you say, I want this, I want that. So I think what life has taught me is that we even have a passaram in this, which says, where Andal says, Lord, I don't know what I want. Okay, you figure it out and give it to me. I'll accept what you do as the best for me. So I feel a lot of these challenges we face are character building exercises. I mean, if you're going to crash, then that's just sad. It is tough, but you can allow yourself to wallow in it for a little while. But then you should also say, hey, there is something in here for me. Maybe there's a side to me that I'm supposed to discover. Okay, you don't have to go be that spiritual even, but you have to say, okay, these are the cards I've been given. Let me do my best to play, the best that I can with them. And then you focus on what you need to do, on your karma, on your dharma rather. And then I think you'll discover sides to you, or you realize that you are capable of certain things, or sometimes you just do your duty. And so life happens to you, but life also happens. What was the other one? For you?
For you.
To you or for you?
So it's
for
a bit
you.
of both.
So what percentage is this? You say 50-50, or is you have a different, or everybody has a different percentage?
But I don't know why thinking about it even helps. Just deal with it the best way you can, logically, sensibly, with a clean conscience. So why even complicate so much? I think what Kanika means is when you say life is happening to you, people start feeling a little sad or feel helpless and out of control. I don't know if that's what she means.
So Priya,
well,
so there was. Go ahead. Sorry.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, Mr.
No. Actually, you had something to say. Please.
Me, or I don't know. It's an open dialogue, right? So I'd like to know if somebody else wants to provide any other opinion, how they feel in their life journey.
So what was that thing? It said a life.
Life is happening to you or for you.
Life is happening to you or for you. Oh, okay. This is very interesting.
Meaning you're pulled into a path, essentially, when it is to you. For you is when you are trying to, it's happening in a way that you would like to shape it to. But I'm saying it's both. Sometimes some things happen to you, but you can try your level best to cope with them and make it happen for you, maybe even not turn it around, but at least mitigate, right? Or you can do something.
Priya. Sorry. I just need to. It's like, I think, we understood your point of view. We just want to say it's like everybody has an interpretation. Let's just, interpret everybody's, perception of what is their.
No, I
there is no right or wrong answer. It's just a perspective, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think life happening to me, Kanika ji, I'm not sure because I'm just there in this universe, like a pop-up, what Sadhguru says. So I'm just a part of what is happening to me. I'm not dictating what is happening around it. I'm just going with the flow. So I would call this as it's happening to me, and I'm happy the way the things are happening. I'll just go with the flow.
Okay. Anybody else?
Hello, Kanika ji. This is Surabhi. Okay,
hi.
Please go ahead. Hi. Yeah, somebody else can go ahead. I was just asking that it's just this much question, or there's something before and after, the perspective.
Well, I want to ask the question and then I will provide more context to it, right?
Okay.
But I'm just trying to get a kind of a gauge for people, kind of like a temperature check, right? How they feel about their life, right?
Okay. Yeah.
So.
All right. Yeah, I think somebody was going for next.
Okay.
Right.
Now that you're on the spotlight, Surabhi ji, now that you're in there, just say like 2 or 4. I think, then your turn will be done. Sorry.
Yeah. So
we are taking
for
a
me,
vote
life
now.
is, I think life is something that is happening to me more or less. I think most of the times it's happening. I don't think I am the one who is the total in control of everything. I am just seeing it, whatever is happening, I'm witnessing, or I'm looking at whatever is going on. That's what I feel about it.
Okay.
Yeah, I kind of feel the same. Basically, I feel like life is like a river is going on, and I'm one of the person just going in there, like a leaf maybe. I'm just traveling with the flow. Neither I can make the big difference, but every person makes small difference. So basically, life probably takes me with it rather than I'm taking the life.
Okay.
Is what I feel. I'm just a very small piece. Is what I feel, that I cannot control things as much as I would definitely.
You'll be surprised how much you can actually control every single aspect.
So
I wish, but definitely
that's the Western philosophy. In my mindset, it is more like Western thing, like I am the one who is handling whatever is my surrounding. I am dictating myself. But in our, I mean, in our Eastern, culture or our philosophy, we are more like, we are not in control of the situations. We can only control ourselves, but not the situations around it. So in that way, life is whatever is going around me, but how I deal with it, it is up to me. But at the same time, life is happening. I cannot change. Like Ramji, if I say he went to the jungle or whatever happened, Vanvas and everything. So life happened to him. But what he did in turn was his karma. So that is, I mean, I'm just kind of giving my perspective about it. How do I think?
Yeah.
I think one thing, if I may, I think, in terms of Eastern versus Western, and one other thing is, I think perhaps, in one of the subsequent things, we should go into karma yoga and the kriya yoga from both Patanjali and the Bhagavad Gita. From my interpretation of karma yoga, what it actually says is we are the free choice making agents. In other words, in this world, I mean, it's actually, we have total free will, even from the Eastern philosophy. So in other words, we are the free choice making agents. But let me stop at that, and then let's continue with the other things, which is like 2 or 4.
So the reason I asked this question was because I came to some learnings about 2 years ago in my life. And part of it was just trying to determine the meaning of life, right? I'm here. Am I supposed to do this every day, right? Which, let's say we all have, jobs, personal things, etc. And, it's like that was basically your day-to-day life. You have some entertainment, etc., all of those things. And then you go on, right? One day happens, 1 week happens, a month happens, things like that, right? So for me, it was more about a journey that I wanted to embark upon, and more and kind of understand what is the purpose of life? Why am I here? Is it happening, like I said, to me or for me? So of course, up until the point it was happening to me, and now it is happening for me. So today I'm at a point in my life where I have the power. Yes, I know it may sound a little bit, that how and so forth. And I'm not here to debate or not here to go into the Eastern and the Western philosophy. I think they have similar grounds and there's a lot of commonality. However, it is left up to everyone's interpretation, right? So I can see a glass half full or I can see it half empty. They're both the same. It's how you see, how you perceive certain things. So for me, it came to that point. And so I started digging more and more and came through a lot of learnings to come to understand that you can actually change your entire life, right? Whatever it is that you want, right? Leaving karma, dharma, all of those things aside, right? Like we are here to fulfill certain desires of our own, right? It is not just, and if that desire is to, whatever that can be, right? Because our desires are given to us by God itself, right? They're not just kind of handpicked that only a few people get to experience them. And here, we are in this rat race of life where we're not able to. So what happens is through a kind of birth, childhood, right? We have a very tender mind, right? Our subconscious mind. Our mind is made up of 2 minds. We have a conscious mind and we have a subconscious mind. And actually, when you say life is happening to you, your subconscious mind is running the show for you every single day from the moment you wake up, from the moment you sleep. Next day, Saturday comes, Sunday comes, whatever it is your subconscious programming that has been set up throughout your life, through your culture, throughout perhaps parents, siblings, whoever your surroundings, whatever those experiences have it for you. Now, in order for life to happen for you, you have some beliefs, some things that have been set. You have to change that. It is a programmable mind. It is nothing more. That is, you can change it. And you change it 1 day, 2 days, 3 days, 4 days. And, eventually things will start to appear differently for you. You can, like I said, look at the world as a very healthy place. That's how I look at it, despite what's going on in the world. However, or you can look at a world as a very miserable place, right? So it is how you want to perceive life in general. The second thing I want as a takeaway for everyone, perhaps later part of it, because I do want to give Mr. Ramakanth to speak as well. There's a lot I can speak on this, right? But I just want you guys to hold a thought in your mind and observe that. Perhaps start with creating 3 things that you really, small things that you want, right? Let's say someone complimented you, someone gave you something, right? You saw a rainbow, something like that. And when we come back, maybe in a week's time or whenever it is, you'll see that, or let's say a friend called you, you'll see that all of those 3, 10, 5, whatever things you wrote down on a list of piece of paper, all of those things came true. Now, what happens is things have to happen here first in order to see it outside. It cannot happen the other way. It's not the outside is going to reflect you. It can if you allow it to, and that is the 2 factor. Or you can do it for you, where you can think something and then you observe something happened outside. Well, the thought had to happen before it to come outside. And that is what we call manifesting, because it is always within, outside. So I'm going to leave today's topic just here. It's a lot to take in, especially on my side. I've learned a lot, right? I have changed my life drastically in many, many aspects, from health issues gone, where doctors had told me you have to take injections for the rest of your life. I don't take any medicines, none whatsoever, nothing of that sort. I had to change my drastic programming to think that I can be healed, completely healed in any aspect. And some other personal, professional things that I was able to accomplish as a result of just working within me to understand what is it that's happening. So I'll leave there for now.
So Kanika ji, sorry. Yeah, please go ahead.
Yeah, so are you saying that, like, let's say I desire something, then should I visualize myself in that place already? Is that what this is about? As in, I've already accomplished or I've gotten there? Is that where you feel that you should tell your subconscious mind and then motivate it to work towards it? Or
so your subconscious mind, believe it or not, is running your entire life show, which works 97% of your time. Your conscious mind only works 2 to 3%, which is your waking state. But your subconscious mind is running every single thing. Like I said, from the morning time you brush, you do whatever activities, etc. As far as you want to accomplish any desires, yes, you can go ahead and visualize, you can write about it, you can do anything that you feel comfortable, in the sense that makes you feel that, that this makes you like kind of you've accomplished your desire, and then things will work in your favor to get you to that end goal. That's what it happens to be. There's no universal power outside of us that will make things happen. Yes, there are things in the South. When I say outside, it is people, places, whatever needs to get moved around in order for you to get to that end state will and must happen. Unless, of course, you doubt yourself. Even when you doubt, you will still get it. It just might take a little longer, right? But again, it also comes back to certain beliefs, etc., that have been programmed in your mind that perhaps may be restricting yourself to get to that like end stage, right? Because here, let's take a very simple example, right? You have someone who is, wanting, let's say, $100,000, right? But probably doesn't have anything even to begin with right now. So in order for that person, maybe that end goal seems very unrealistic, right? Just because either they are not in that position, or they're kind of feeling that, well, I don't even have this and that, how am I able to get to that next state, right? But if that's how you feel, then maybe take it into baby steps, right? Start small to get to the end goal, because sometimes breaking it down will help you to get to that end goal, right? But either way, it's neither one is right or wrong, right? I've achieved both ways, they both work. It's just that sometimes your logical mind will get into the way and start to kind of say, well, it's not possible, or things like that, right? But it's kind of like, how we go, or how we pray to God, in like you pray, I think it was yourself who said, wanting, asking, those kind of things. It is more like about thanking God, I already have it, I received it, so thank you very much, right? The prayer becomes more about a gratitude, and kind of saying that you've already received it, right? So God has already listened to whatever you want.
Kanikaji, what a beautiful way of saying this. In fact, to anchor back on what you just said, the prayer is as the puja. It is like purate jayate iti puja. It is like, you already have to believe that you already received it. And in fact, one of the things that I, tell people is, if you want something, imagine a blank canvas and then go into finest of strokes, start manifesting it in the canvas. In fact, if you actually do it, the finer the details that you could actually get into in your visualization, the more in reality you're actually manifesting it. And that's literally nothing but the samyama. That is nothing but the samyama, because you're fixing your mind into that only thought and meditating, and your mind is essentially, you're becoming that object of pursuit.
Right.
Because most of the time we don't allow that level of detail. We don't even have clarity what we want.
Exactly, because our life is happening to us, right? So we never sit down and even think about for 5 or 10 minutes and say, what exactly do I want in life, right? What is our purpose, right? Forget the purpose, but we are so entangled with our day-to-day things, our jobs, all of those things, right? So we never get to even spend that 5 minutes. You need to just spend 15 minutes a day. 15 minutes is all it takes. If it's 5 minutes in the morning, 5 minutes in the afternoon, or 5 minutes in the evening at night, right? That's all it takes to kind of just go into that creative visualization of yours and actually feel your desire being a done deal. Because if you can want it, it is already done. It is already given to you by God itself.
I mean, we are the creator. We are nothing but we are the creator. Actually, one other thing is, if you look in Valley, when you guys come to Silicon Valley, I mean, Silicon Valley's secret is that the entrepreneurship is all about that. People do not have anything, but they have bolder vision of, something that you would want to do. But the thing is, they don't leave it at the periphery. In fact, recently I met a doctor, and she had this dream about, perhaps someday I would want to open my own hospital. That's it. It's only one liner at the thing, but then it's like,
right.
Give it, embellish it, try to concretize it. And it's like, how? So when you only keep it as a faint thought, it's just like it creates anxiety. You never believe it. But then you actually give it a finer strokes. Then it's like, okay.
When you think of the how and the when, those are actually not our issues or problems or figuring it out. You just have to find, it's more about working from a solution mindset, right? Yeah. You work from the end that, hey, I want this, I'm going to get it, right? I don't know how, but I know it's going to happen, right? Yeah. I've had a lot of things happen in my life, from small to big, whatever, because technically nothing is small or big. It's one and the same. We're just nothing but a full list. We're just energy. Well, all of us are just energy. We all have the creative source. Nothing is big or small, like I said, to God. So it's all about creating the best life that you're here to experience and manifest that.
It's a beautiful, actually, we can go on this topic. In fact, in the philosophy, sometimes people refer to that as a prosperity mindset versus a poverty mindset.
Exactly.
And then also Carl Dweck, talks about growth mindset versus fixed mindset. Or and the thing here is, yeah, sorry, go ahead.
Sorry, there's many books written by many great authors. Think and Grow Rich, right? It's all it starts within. If you think big, will you get big, right? If you think small, that's what you'll get, right?
Yeah. But I have one contradiction. I mean, I want to bring it here, and thank you, Sriniji, for allowing me to speak on that. So it is like, though I believe in that power of abundance, or that you already have what you want, everything I can program in my mind. But if I look at a bigger perspective, what I think that in one form, the sanskaras that we have is actually the program that we are running our lives with. So that is the basic program that we have. Sanskaras are nothing else but the fine blueprint of what we want to achieve in this life. It is totally my perception, I think. And second thing is, if I know what I want, not subconscious, my conscious mind know everything about the world. That, and then only I can decide what I want. But if I don't really know, what I don't know, because this universe is so big. I mean, I can't find it all the way through, right? So how can I decide what I want? It is way too much for me to explore and find it out. Though it is at very much internet times, everything we know, we claim, but I don't think we know exactly what we want. I mean, I'm totally talking about something, philosophical thing. It is not about I need, $100,000 or $1 million or something. No, I'm talking about what I really want,
And that's okay. It's more of a journey in life, right? You might not know all the answers today. I still don't know sometimes, right? I start off like, it's like a New Year's resolution, right? Some days I'll feel like this is the path I want to take. But, 3 months down the road, I feel that I want to now change my path, right? But I have that flexibility. Every now moment is there, right? Every morning we wake up, we have a now moment, because the past was actually a now moment.
That
every
is
day
what
is
I
a
feel
now
when I
moment.
say the life is happening to me. So that's what I think. Many times it has happened, every day or one fine day when I wake up, I realize I am new today. Like, I am totally different than what I used to be before. Like, I have evolved somewhere. I don't know what is changed, what exactly is changed, but I am a different
and that's completely fine. You can be in a very good flow of life, right? And whether you think it's happening to you or for you, right? Irrespective,
I can define that it is happening for me or it is happening to me. I don't know what exactly is that, but I know that something I am already in the pursuit of something and I am working towards it. And that's what I feel. And it is a bigger answer, I think, or much more.
Right. I think wider. I know where you're coming from. I think I know. It's not about like small things, right? It's about the bigger picture of life, right?
Yeah.
Kind of where life path will take you. And sometimes you won't know that, right? And sometimes it's how you're changing and evolving as a person, and you will be guided to those things, right? Like it's just normal, right? Some days you will just find the answer within you, and sometimes it may just not come that easy, right? There's no right or wrong. It's almost like you're only answering to your own self, but anyways. You're not answering to me or anybody.
I'm trying to contradict that thing that no, I don't really know what I want. If I want to say program myself, I might be making a negative program for myself, because I am programmed to do better than what I'm programming right now. I mean, I cannot stop. I cannot put that, boundaries around my own self, saying, I know everything and I'm going to tell myself, don't do this now. It might be way too much.
Yeah. So let me, sorry, one other, sorry. We are running out of the time. Sorry, so I apologize. We'll actually continue in the other thing. So let me park one of the thoughts that you said. And Surmiji, I'm going to play a little bit of a fun thing here. You said, like, you're already programmed with the samskaras and all this stuff. And that's where when we actually read the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, when you actually do this practice of meditation and the dhyana and the samskara, it actually tilts, it creates a transformation within. So where you actually suppress the samskaras and then you actually create a new samskara, which is the Prashanta Vahita samskara. So you actually, the Vidana samskara gets, suppressed, and then the Nirodha samskara get in there, and then you establish into a new thing. That's where the reprogramming actually happens in your mind, right? And then the second thing that actually, it's a transformation. We all have access to this transformation. So we don't get reacted or by the hidden samskaras. We have the power to change that, right? That is one. That's what I truly believe that. And then the second aspect of that is I think, I don't know what is my program or what is my purpose. Actually, from what I read is you just be on the path, and then who am I? Why am I here? Why am I here? Where am I? The purpose comes looking for you. You just need to prepare the vessel such that the passion and the purpose for you comes to you. We just have to be in the path, and we don't know it, but it actually chooses you, right? I think, that's what I actually believe. And I actually see that happening to me and people around me. So with that, I think, let's do it. And we'll continue this conversation on Saturday. I think, that's going to be a fantastic thing. So Ramakanth, surrender to you.
Thank you, everyone.
Thank you, Kanika, as usual. It was wonderful. And, having Kanika in my life has helped me tremendously. And I have manifested a lot through her help. And but I have gone to a place sometimes now is like, there is no external desire as such I want anymore. Like, you know what I mean? It's just like, I don't know how to explain. It's like, it's okay. Okay in the sense is like bliss is what I'm after, and nothing material is sometimes I'm not. It falls off as and when you go further, like you feel like, oh, okay, this is it. I manifested a cup of coffee today, a cup of this. It's okay, and you move on. Like, you don't want that anymore. I don't know. That's what my experience was.
Good. And then on the closing thought, one other thing, are you to or for, or percentage 50-50? Answer your friend.
I am still for 2 to begin on. Even with Kanika.
I see. Okay, good. Okay.
I need to go deeper into it.
Okay, that's Saturday.
Manifested things
Saturday
with the help of everything. Yeah, definitely.
Okay. Excellent. Thank you, Ji. Ramakanth.
Yeah. No, actually, that is the actual core topic we talk. So I was writing some notes. So I will not still jump into the topic that my purpose that I was here. I will still close upon some of those notes that I made. So one of the important thing that I think Kanika ji brought up can be broken down into in a visualizing format. Right? Let me open up the slides, and this will help us understand where Kanika ji was trying to explain us. Right? I'm her assistant today, so I'm just trying to make it easy. So whatever Kanika ji talked about, right, it's all about, hey, we have this component of the body, we have the breath, the conscious mind and the unconscious mind. Why do I see this? Do you see a date in between here? Oh, my slides are embedded with some.
Yes.
Yeah, there's something interesting.
Date and time.
Yeah, it's very weird. I don't know. Okay, so yeah. so this unconscious mind, right? This is what Kanika ji was talking about. And the conscious mind and the rest of it, right? So happening to and for, right? Here is the separation. And the purpose of yoga and beyond this is this interesting question mark, right? This observer who sees through all these layers, his ability. I should say his, right? It is it, I would say, right? So the ability to see through all these is the actual observer who is also the witness, whom we call the Sakshi. So this question mark, some people call it Ruh, some call it soul, some call it godliness, Atma, whatever you call it. The entire purpose of yoga is realization of this question. That's all. And this is the me. Okay, this question mark is the me, and rest is all mine, M-I-N-E. Right? So like I shared last call, with a kiddo who never has any background of all these weirdness in the science. And by the way, I was very repelling to this concept of spirituality and all these gurus and all this nonsense of these temples and people spending time on these gods, doing these abhishekams, wasting time and money everywhere, right? And especially I was very hateful towards these saints because they don't marry, they put this cloth and go around and waste their time and not being productive and all. And by the way, at 18, I already got with that strong mind. And I think what you resist will persist, right? So what nature does, right? What you suppress, suppression leads to depression is one way. And what you resist will persist. So what does nature do? Nature does is whatever your strong afflictions with, nature puts you into that place where you work the opposite way. Like Sriniji helps us understand, right? When you have these 4 kinds of people, so one is very hateful towards you. So what is the kind of field that you do? You work, you use the opposite technique. You fix, so there is a bolt here, there is a nut here. You fix the right nut onto this bolt, basically. Right? So that's all we do, right? So that's the fun part. So that's one thing I wanted to cover Kanika ji's topic. Second thing was the Shreyas versus Preyas, while you were talking about it, right? One is that which I mean, in Telugu they say, right? Cheya valasina pani, cheya dalachina pani, right? So that which you want to do is one kind, that which you need to do is the second kind. And this nature puts us, we take this, like, again, samskaras, I think Surabhiji talked about samskaras. So as long as I want to do this, whether it is meditation, whether it is, I want to make the entire world enlightened, or I want to become enlightened, whatever, it doesn't matter, right? It is still a want, that's all. Until you have this want, right? We go on getting into these bodies. Until, right, rather than getting into this concept of working on the needs that we need to do. So nature puts us into those zones. So these wants slowly cool down and to a point where only the needs just remain. And moving on, I'm just summarizing all of us. We talked about prayer on the call as well. So believe me, I mean, I think when I've and by the way, I started my journey with this concept, in the sense, I was into some yoga course and they talked about this and then they put me into meditation. Suddenly, okay, all the magic happens. But I stumbled upon an enlightened master, and my master, another master, basically, right? I have multiple that I was showered with. So he was like, when I'm with him, he's just like, you don't need to do anything. You know, whatever you do, just say, Lord, this is your game. That's all. Very simple. You are in your restroom, you are showering, you are in a bridge call, you are sleeping, you do whatever, it doesn't matter. Hey, sir, this is yours. I'm just playing this game. That's it. And it blew my mind. Wow, bhakti. Is it that simple? He said, yeah, that's it. There's nothing you to do. Nothing you need to do. Just, oh, this is your game, sir. That's all. Then slowly I realized, okay, what does that mean? Then I realized this bank balance is for me too. When I said this bank balance is for me, only if I replace that word of only to also, then everything changed. Right? Everything totally changed. And then I started to listen. I mean, at 18, I started to listen to these tapes, and then I realized, oh, forget about it. You know, let go. Don't let go anything. Don't let go of your bank balance. Don't let go of anything. Hold on to it. But for now, in this 10 minutes, just for that 5 seconds or 10 minutes of meditation, You just let loose and see whether it makes sense or not, just for that 10 minutes. And that 10 minutes with these enlightened masters, right? So it just penetrated my entire life. So for me, it was the reverse. Basically, my paradigms were so tight. My framework of understanding the world in a materialistic format was so hanging on. But just because I was given this sugar crystal of me separating from the mind, it was very easy for open my knots, all those vrittis, all those kleshas. It's simple for me. It was just a matter of time just to open up and just subconsciously see, oh, mind is discussing this way. Oh, but the me is totally different. Okay. So, and also test one at a time, because this is not like a theory. This cannot be shown to anybody. I mean, each one of us are at a jasmine, a lily are all different. But interestingly, all these jasmine and lily form a garland, and at the feet of the Lord, we all lie down, right? But still, they are still different. Right? So this is something for us to take. And again, Swami Mukundananda talks about this 1% change. That is, just pick only 1% at a time, some characteristic, work through it only that week, that's all. So we have been talking on our classes saying, okay, 52 weeks plus 52, 100. Okay, 2 years down the lane, right? We'll work very slowly. And some of us are fortunate, we could pick within 3 days, we could bring that change by conscious, the power, like Kanika ji said, the power of now. Like Eckhart Tolle talks about the power of now, the power to choose, right? So the first habit, in fact, Sriniji was on our calls the other day. So we are also discussing, I love these 7 habits of Steve Covey. The reason being, it is not at all a book of yoga, but for me, truly it is the basic book of yoga, actually. Right? So he talks about being proactive. Right? We have the power to choose. So he says, between the stimulus and the response, we have the freedom to choose and to respond. And this ability to respond, he calls it as responsibility. And nothing like a big thing on our head. I have a wife, I have 2 kids. Okay, that is like a subset of it. But once we have this ability to respond, everything changes. Okay? So that was one thing I wanted to summarize. Let me move on some more. Half full, half empty. That was a beautiful one. Actually, Modi ji, when I was listening to his stuff, he said, "Main aisa dekhta hu," right? So this half full, half empty concept. But he says, I see a glass with half full of water and half full of air. So he says, mine is a third way of looking at it. I don't see it half full or half empty. I see it full, half full with water, half full with air. So these are just paradigms and perspectives. And now moving on, the other thing, the intention that Kanika ji talked about is nothing but the modernists are talking about the law of attraction. Right? So whether you might all of you might have seen the Secret, right? SECRET. That's a documentary by Rhonda Byrne, and all the life coaches on this planet are all in that video. So it boils down to a very simple concept. She simply put saying, ask and then believe and then receive. That's the only job. Like Sriniji was talking about. Californian folks, just ask. This is what, just put the intention there. No questions, no strings attached. Hey, this is what I'd like to manifest. And then just openly just believe it. It doesn't matter. Just leave it. And then receive it. That's it. So you look at any folks, so the abundance and the prosperity paradigm, they call it, or whether it is the poverty paradigm. It's just this story. That's all. And the Sakaratva and the Nakaratva, as soon as I said, right, I want great happiness in my life versus it sounds very same as I do not want these difficulties in my life. It is both exactly the same, looks like the same, but interestingly, diametrically opposite, because what actually happens there is what we focus right away expands. Right? Whatever we focus expands huge. So let me move to my slide that I wanted to talk about.
You move to higher consciousness.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely, right? So that is where you need to vibrate with. So whatever you focus, that expands. That's all. Right? So very, very important. Are we talking about removing the difficult? See, very, very simple. Now, Guru is the darkness. Elimination of the Gu and the Ru stands for the elimination of the darkness within us. Like the light which lets the darkness go. Simple. Tamasoma Jyotirgamaya. Very straightforward. So we could spend there's a dark room, so you could talk about, hey, this inch of this volume, this quarter square foot of darkness, should I remove that? And we can go on, multiply, discuss about it, whatever. Or, hey, forget about it. Just go outside the room, light the small lamp, bring it. Everything changed. Nothing, no questions asked. Right? It is as if you have walked from a dark room to a light room. It is that simple. And when you are with masters, right, that's the whole point. So similarly, moving on to that, the paradigm shift is the avidya, the ignorance, darkness, right? When we, of course, this is something that I needed to introduce you to another concept. But anyway, so next week, I think we will talk about the concept of what a wall, right? In a room, there is a lamp, and there is a light that is coming through the lamp, then that falls into the wall. So for a gentleman, right, who comes into the room for the first time, when he sees the wall, then he thinks that the brightness is all because of the wall. Right? Like the entire wall, because it's self-illuminating is what he thinks. But after some time, the Antar Madhana, right, all these sessions that Sriniji is doing for us, is to just reflect, self-reflect. What Kanika ji talked about is self-reflection, that's all. And once we do the self-reflection, he gently moves and says, oh, he moves it as, no, I see the screen. So this wall is only the screen. So something on this wall is falling. Then he sees the source called the light. Then he realizes, oh, wow, this is because of the light. And again, he does sadhana, spends more time, blah, 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 right? Then slowly he moves his head further. Then he looks at the lamp. Oh, my goodness, actually, I forgot this is because of the lamp. So the interesting part here is moving on, right? Let me take you to the actual part of those slides. So the lamp is the source, the projector. The light is the medium, the projection, and the wall that is being projected, right? So the lamp, the source, the projector, the light, the medium, and the projection. And this wall has that nama, rupa, this ding, that shape, that color, right? Whatnot. And after some time, right, the lamp is doing nothing. It is just falling on the wall, right? The lamp is staying still in its place. That wall is the one which is having all these shapes, forms, and colors. So none of the wall's properties are identified with the lamp nor the light. Agree? Lamp and light are remaining untouched. Okay? But without the lamp and the light, the characteristics of that wall, the dings, the shapes, the hues, the depth are not coming into existence. Do we agree or not? As of now, these 4 slides, dear friends, any questions on these 4 slides? Because I'm about to jump on to another interesting slide. That's the reason I'm asking. Any question on these 3 components? The light, the lamp, light, and the wall. Any question?
Sorry, I have a question.
Please.
Ramakanth. With all these 3 awareness, the stages of awareness, whatever it is, or the final awareness that we realize, oh, it's the lamp which is projecting the light, and it's the shape and the color is the wall. What paradigm shifts happens? What happens from that point of nothing matters, isn't it? The wall doesn't matter, the light doesn't matter, nothing matters.
Because because the light, the lamp, and the wall, everything is the same.
Yeah.
Okay. right? It is the same, that's all, right? It is just temporary shapes that are happening and some hues that are happening. And that is what is called samadhi. So, nothing much. So anyway, so let's look at this part, right? And I'm so shocked. So was it, who was that on the call? Who said that? Savita ji or?
Sorry, what did I say? Oh, that was
No,
me, Savita.
Savita ji. That's all Savita ji, right? So amazing. So now the falseness,
No,
look at this.
with the knowledge of, for me, I'm able to turn things. I understand that. But
right.
What happens is the constant control comes up. When I say
No problem. No problem. So next call, right? Next call. By the way,
I know. That is the reason I say to me.
Sriniji, I'm sorry. I'm already 2 minutes over the time.
No,
do we have the permission to extend few minutes, or how do we take this? I don't want to.
No. Let's actually continue.
You can take it for 1 more hour.
Yeah. This is an open satsang.
Okay.
This is an open satsang.
Because I do not know. I have to take permission. I'm just. No.
There is no boundaries. Actually, this thing is so passionate and so intimate to all our hearts, or whoever is there. We can continue this, the satsang, because that's what satsangs are meant to be.
Sure. No problem. So Savita ji, please go ahead. Savita ji, please.
No, sorry. I was telling when Sriniji asked, do you think it's 4 or 2? Having n number of hours of conversation with Kanika, and with the help of her, I've been able to manifest a lot. But what I noticed constantly was for some reason there was a control factor. I was constantly, because I know it can be, because it's coming from me, that ego was somewhere it's creeping up for me. So that's when I felt, for me, the 2 kind of helped me to surrender to it. Like 2.
See, basically, right? I will add a statement here. So basically, when we, all of us, whoever read Sai Baba's Charitra, right? He very simply says, right? Sai Satcharitra, right? So Baba simply says, I go on giving you all whatever you want until you start to ask what I want to give you. Right? Let me repeat that again. Right? So I'm going on giving you whatever you want until the date, so that you will turn to ask what I want to give you.
Yeah.
So, जो कनिका जी ने बताया हमको, that is absolutely fantastic. But the day you will be, our entire body will shiver with fear, is whatever you say is happening. So my concern here is, dude, right? Should I, how long do I play this false game of creating stuff? Right? So that is when the creation start to happen, and the creator, whatever he wants to do through you, starts to happen. Until then, there are things that I want to do, right? Then जिस दिन हमको पता चलेगा खंबक जो भी मांगता हूं छोड़ो, मैं सोचता हूं वो हो जाता है. Then you will be on one day, you are on such a fearful state, इतना पसीना आ जाएगा, right? You are so struck, you know that now it is no more you who's doing it, dude. The real guy who is doing it is doing it, and now is the time I shut up myself. So that kind of thing happens. So with that, let me move a bit forward.
Ramakanth, one thing.
Please. Yeah.
This is literally the state, and that's when we actually sometimes refer to as we are Ishanga. We become the limb of the creator.
Yes.
The Isha's Anga. We become the limb of the creator. So, and the way is the seed, the drashta is planted in all of us. But we our mind puts the reflector, and that's constantly trying to optimize for what's in it for me, 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 right? That is what is the superimposition. That's the Maya that we actually get into it. But when we start getting that, that's when, it is like tada drashtu swarupe asthanam. So this purification is allowing it, the divine to express itself through you. then you are the creator, because the way this creation has happened is you are nothing but that. Tattvamasi, you are nothing but that, right?
But one thing, like some of us said, right? Priyaji talked about it, and Savitaji talked about it, right? These cannot be played with too much logicalness. And once we go on playing logically and all, for me, the simplest thing is, see, again, logical is all about the male aspect of it, right? The understanding aspect of it, the left brain concept of it. Now, the bhakti is all the right brain concept of it. Female's mind, right? Are yaar chhod, okay? Gatam gataha, come on, right? That's why they say, right? Osho also talks about it. I mean, this was so many years back. He was saying, when you look at those females of the Bharat and the females of the rest of the Western world, right? In spite of these crazy males, how come those villages में जो भी उनको पढ़ाई नहीं आता, nothing, but they look so simple? I mean, how come they can deal with this? Because and how come the divorce concept is happening on the West? So he simply says, on the East, in those gaon mein or whatever, see, when I say female, even today, today's female is very different when I'm talking about the true female mind, the Shakti part of it, right? So there it is all about karuna. It is all about compassion. It is all about creativity. It is all about carrying, right? The patience of the Bhumata, right? The Mata Tattva, right? The motherness, basically. So, but all of us do agree on this call that though physically, bodily we are male and female, ये जो शिव and Shakti का Ardhanarishwar Tattva जो है, we all have it in us. And based on the situations, based on the time, like Priyaji and rest of them are talked about, through sanskaras, whenever whatever needs to manifest, happens. Right? So that percentage, whatever we allow that percentage to dominate in our system, right? Then that works that time. That's all.
Yeah.
So moving on.
One thought, Ramakanth, I think, like Kanika ji, I went through the same process. I went from 2 to 4. The biggest switch that happened to me, this is where I think we could even use your left brain to, there is a saying, right? You have to use your mind to transcend the mind, to get into the state of devotion. Devotion is no logical, right? It actually happens, but you can actually use the mind to actually get to that state. The simplest process is to reduce the chatter of simply anything that you're doing. What's in it for me? If you drop that one filter,
yeah,
it's just like, is it that I'm doing? Am I trying to optimize it for me, my kind of associations? That asmita bhava. If you can at least consciously try to reduce this asmita bhava and then reflect more as like what's in it for the others, then eventually the process trains you into the surrender.
Srini, I think that's what we are taught at home. When you were young, we are told to see it as duty. You're doing something because it's your duty. You don't always think about what I'm getting out of it. There are also certain things which may not be pleasant to you that you have to do because of a responsibility towards others, not only family members. So I think that is what we are all taught at home. Somehow we start running this rat race. I think that's where we
both are true, because what happens is, like I said, we so in few minutes I'll come to the components again. So that is where we should lead our, so this is all logical conversation, and how do we take that very gently when we sit into the meditation? So today I would like to take you to a simple slide eventually, where Sriniji and will send you that screenshot of it. And how do we sit in that meditation, right? It is not about a control over things, but how do you allow things, right? So I will guide you through that. So just let's move a bit more further. So falseness is the color, the names, the forms.
Ramakanth,
sorry.
I just want to share one experience of mine here. When I had my daughter, I prepared everything, crib, every logical way of thinking. I was prepared. Okay. And once you have the child, like I have a younger brother, but I never didn't raise him to that degree of what a mother raises, right? So lot of things, it came, even I was surprised, from bathing to I had not seen anything so many things. It's just a surrendering to it. And like, as you said, the female side of me took over. The female, whatever the karuna or the prema took over, and naturally it flowed. And also I was able to, and there was a comfort, there was fear, comfort, but it just, even I was amazed some point. It's like, oh wow, how did I know that she was hungry? How did I, that connection was amazing to begin with, first of all. But a lot of things, it came flew. I mean, the flow was there. And also I could become a strong human being to protect her in time of like somebody pushed her or something. And like, you get into that mother bear also at the same time. So it's just something that I was just want.
It is
Not
embedded.
everything. If something was working through me, like, nobody trained me for any of those things.
Exactly. How come suddenly, right?
Yeah.
That you logically saw that is not possible is so overpowering within you. Oh my goodness. Yeah. You were so shocked as to, is it like a booth working through me or what? Right? Yeah. Who is this third person working through me?
But I could get up, wake up.
That sense of duty and responsibility also came.
It was not duty. It was not duty. It was not.
No, it is. You think, of course, it is love, but there are people who love without a sense of duty also. So it is a combination.
No,
I would say.
I don't know. I don't know how to see it. Yeah.
So let me. Those two words are again just a perspective. Both of you are saying the same. It is just the words that you're. Because the bhava that is the underneath is what it is. So it is a combination of, Murgumasalam life that we lived, right? Because we do not really know where that percentage of duty versus this pure form of love within us is. And it flows that way. That's all. It just that is the whole mixture. Nobody, right? That's why we are all here discussing about these topics. Whereas my mentors, right, they are not even on this call. And when I call them somewhere and somebody asks something about somebody and they say, oh yeah, that guy is thinking that way. But after 3 months, 4 days, he will be fine. How come they say that? Because, hey, this contradiction or the mind concept is no more within themselves. That's very simple. So both of you are perfectly true. It is just the different words you are talking about, but where the bhava you are coming from is on the same substratum that you are. Especially both of you being female from bodily perspective. So with that, let me move forward, right? So the colors, names, forms, the properties of this wall is because of the lamp, right? And look at the truth, right? So those were seen because of the light and the lamp, right? They do not belong to the light nor the lamp. Okay, so this is very, very important. And then now let's look at what this crazy wall and its characteristics are all, and what this light that is falling onto the wall is, and let's look at what this lamp is altogether. So here, this wall is all about this mind. My thoughts, my ideas, my patented stuff. At office, I write this plan, ready eyes, right? This Honda car, whatnot, this proper, everything, right? So all that put together is all just simple mind. That's all. Simple, the wall. And this so-called me, right? The I or the consciousness, right? That is what is the Jiva. And now let's look at this lamp, the real source, right? So that is the Parama, right? Jiva is still, right? So the Parama is the highest, basically. Right? So that is how it goes. And now look at the fun part. I do experience that I exist as I'm using my senses, mind, right, and intellect, right? All of us do say, right? Yes, I exist. We do know, hey, I exist. With deep questioning, I exist is because of the light, right? Where did this light come from, right? So in me is the Paramatma. in the room is the lamp. Light is because of the lamp and not because of the room or the walls. Do we agree? Right? Now, so the cause is the Ishvara, and the effect is the experience of that I-ness or I exist in this body. Right? See, the sun is right here, but look at the moon. Right? And because of the moon, all these herbs and all, right? They form because of the coolness of the moon, right? All the herbs that form. But where is this light coming from? Right? That is coming from the Ishvara, the sun, basically. So that is a small thing that I wanted to bring to the topic about. And then I'd like to bring you to some other topic. So this body is the gross that changes slowly, which has less movement, limited, temporary, less powerful, and adi bhautika. Okay, this body component. And let's look at what this mind is. Man, why this time thing? I don't know. I want to remove this middle thing. I don't know. It's troubling us today. Anyways, mind is the subtle. So here it is gross, but it is subtle here. And here the body changes slowly, but the mind changes rapid, right? It is. And look at the movement. You can only run whatever so many miles per hour, but look at our mind, right? I can just say, hey, that's it. I want to be at moon. Look at the distance. It doesn't matter, right? I fast move, so fast. And look at the rapidness also. The thoughts change just rapid, but look at our bodies. I wish it changes, right? All of us would do anti-aging right away. No, 2 saal ka banu, fat ho jaye. No, not possible. So, and now this is few lifetimes, right? Mind is few lifetimes. And, oops, sorry. And I wrote down this, okay, less powerful. This here, it is all about more powerful. It is more subtle. And this is the part of the Adi Daivika. Now is the real. So Kanika ji was talking about, right? You know, does it happen for, or life is happening to? Right? So here is the real master, basically. Is the most subtlest, unchanging, omnipresent, right? Omniscient, unlimited, totally permanent. The power source, the fountain, basically. And this is part of the Adi Atmika. This is what an entire, it doesn't matter Vedas, Bhagavad Gita, Patanjali Yoga Sutra, Doom Dum, anything, right? Everything comes from this simple slate. That's all. Right? So and again, there is another be, do, and have model, right? So we can either have a being. So this is, if we work on this level, on the being level, and that's what Kanika ji has been helping, right? Our other friend, right? That is Surabhi ji or Savita ji, let's say, right? That is, she is helping you to get into your being states where you're saying, hey, I just want this. I don't know how it will happen. I just ask and I'll believe and leave it. And then that is happening. That's all. Very straightforward. So by working, so we can work a lot on this, but very gradual changes happen. But if we work on this level, the mind level, things faster manifestation happens. But even this is very limited, right? If you tap into the soul level, everything happens just like that. That's where all of us, you, me on the call, are struggling with this body and mind. Whereas my mentors, right? They are just saying, oh, there should be a Hanuman temple happening here. Nothing more than that. And that too, it is not because of them. They already say, this is not my sankalpa at all. My mom's plan was this, that's all. I'm not onto this. Look at my Guruji's, Ganapati Satchidananda Swamiji, right? Whatever we talk, he says, I don't know, Baba. I don't know how things happen. Amma wanted me to do it. This is Amma's karuna, that's it. Baba, you can see everything, but you say, Amma, I can't understand. So anyway, So
No,
moving on,
Ramakanth, one kind of a probing thing.
Yeah, sure.
When you actually get to that Adhyatmika state, right? The third Shanti, the third Adhyatmika state, even though you're trying to, let's say you're trying to create something, whether it happens or not, both are the same. It's
Exactly.
like, for example, right? When you want to make an intention of building an Hanuman temple, whether it happens or doesn't happen, both are one and the same. So
Both
in
are
that state,
they are such a big time joke, right?
Yeah.
It is a big hilariousness behind it, basically.
Exactly.
Right? And that is where something happens to the same. For example, right, when we were in the small part of the temple and we had some pillars and some big part of the iron we had, and some dude came and he stole all that iron and they went off. So it costed like, it was heavy cost, but they lost everything. And they were so tensed. All these temple trustees were so tensed and whatnot. And then they called up Swamiji and, oh, it is gone. Oh, really? Oh, okay. They were like, what is this okay? I can't understand. People donated so much money. We put stuff here. What is this okay? Right? Then he also said, yeah, that happens. That is okay. And by the way, stealing iron means that guy actually took our karma, because that metal iron is the medium for carrying papa, I heard, basically. Okay. So he said, good that guy took, because all that was troubling, that was supposed to be troubling us in building this big temple, have all gone because of this iron. That guy took off. Nice, no problem. Now, how would I know what is iron? Why would it carry papa? And by the way, we cannot make it global also. Don't take this saying that from today, iron will do this. No. That is given by that master at that moment. That doesn't mean that medicine is for all of us. Right? So this is what I have learned too. Right? Don't generalize anything and everything. Similarly, Ayurvedic medicine also talks about it. Vata, Pitta, Kapha, the percentages of that all of us have is very unique, and it is only given for me, then that is only for me, that's it. You just cannot use it for others. Very straightforward. It can have its good effects, but it is not the thing for me. Right? So that's why some of us who said here, Ramakanth got just like this, who knows what madness is or what challenges he has further ahead, right?
No, I quickly changed that. I knew your path was difficult. I said, I don't want that.
Yeah, exactly. Because look at me, agreed. But look at the ecosystem that came with me. My wife, I tell everybody on this planet, including my mother, I tell everybody, for her, living with me, except her, if any female was with me, they would have given long back out. Because I am not interested to go. Doesn't mean that I don't watch movies, right? I still watch TV. With them, I discuss stuff. But consciously, if she's interested to go every alternative movie, like my friends, right? Every released movie, they have to go. I have a group in Irving, and they have to go to that first released movie. They have that mentality. And if she does for me like that, then, after 2 years, dum das, that's it, gone case, right? But it is not like that. For every nut, there is a screw. That's not very well bent, made here on this planet of Earth. So we all come with that ecosystem. So God is so kind that he puts that's why till today, right? Since my birth till today, I have never experienced pain in my life. Believe me or not. Never. Only tears of joy that I have ever cried out of this unlimited joy. These masters have spent time with me and never cried on a physical plane saying, and from childhood, right? All my friends, even till my 10th standard, all my paper, my books, everything is given to them anywhere. But anyway, coming back to that story, it's not about what was done, but one quote I would bring you, a very important quote from one other master Ekirala Bharadwaja. Sorry, not Ekirala Krishnamacharya, who is I'm a fan of him. I never met him and all that. But what he says is, take this, and it is true. That is how I take my response, in the sense, if God has put me, let's say 1 week back or 2 weeks back, I was into just spending 2 hours in the daytime and almost 1.5 hours sleeping in the night time. That's all. Right? 2 weeks back, my project is so hectic, crazy hectic. So, and the manager on top of it was creating such a havoc for me. Right? So his quote was, whatever you are, that is what the ecosystem he puts you in. So it is not the challenges that you are put with, but whatever karma you have, that is what he will put. And by the way, the challenges of all of us on this call are very different from each of us. And God is very kind to put only delta problems with us. He will never put, for example, I have some challenges in my sadhana. So Swamiji gives me only the next delta problem to me. That's all. Similarly, all of us on this call, God or nature, and let's put the word God and Guru aside. So nature or universe gives us only that delta which we can step up. Simple, right? Because nobody on this call, let's say somebody wants to be in a delta 0 state like me, that cannot happen right away just like that. That's why God even will not give you that possibilities or chances, right? But again, so that is what I'm trying to tell you. So please, especially the this ashrama called the Grihastha ashrama is the best possible gift to mankind, because the rest of all the 3 ashrama people, they depend on food, life, and everything on the Grihastha ashrama base, if you look at, right? So we, with our kids, with all this ecosystem, that delta change, which God is continuously saying, beta tu change karega ya nahi, beta tu isme gussa hoega ya usme release hoega, right? Will you get stuck into this thing, or you say, so that is where are you able to loosen it or hold is what he's looking for. Okay. With that, let's move on to the next one. And by the way, don't take it, like I said last call too, right? All these levels are totally, fully available within us, by the way, right? This Adhyatmika format right now on this call, all of us have that full Ramakrishna Paramahamsa format within us right now. Similarly, the Sharada Devi's full format of its full potency available. But this friend of ours, the middle friend is where all these interesting sanskaras, the frameworks that Sriniji is explaining us, are all the paradigms that we are putting, saying being, are we human doings or are we human beings? Right? That question, right? So
पूरा झंझट है माइंड में,
है सिर्फ, हाँ, पूरा माइंड में ही है बस. और कम वक्त इसका कुछ करने का जरूरी नहीं है. See, the other fun part is, do you need to do anything to get this mind system solved? You do not need to do anything. All you need to do is just watch it. जिस तरह से बाहर से सिनेमा देखते हैं, जिस तरह से शाहरुख खान और माधुरी दीक्षित डांस करते हैं बाहर, उसी तरह अंदर जो डांस हो रहा है उसको फुर्सत में or lazily, for me, because for me that's another problem for my wife and my mother and everybody on the planet. I am such a lazy dude. Nobody can influence me on the planet of Earth, basically, and nobody can inspire me also, sadly, right? Just 1 or 2, like 2-3 mentors that I have, if they send some warning signal, then only they move. Because if not, for every others, I have some answer that will blow off their possibilities. Jis tarah se Ram or Ravan, what they were doing on that war was nothing but this guy is saying capitalism is the best. This guy is saying no, the other is the best. And here he's saying no, devotion is the only way. No, this saying, what are you talking about? Logical way, Patanjali Yoga Sutras are the best. But finally it came to a point where he said, no. It is not winning over a person's ideas. It's about winning their heart. That's where the Pranam, it goes not on the heads. Basically, that head hitting means, basically it's all about you hitting with a logical conversation. It is going back and that guy goes, takes a pause and comes back again. Look at our kids. we try to win their minds by giving them some logical idea. Look at them within 3 days or 30 minutes or 3 months down the lane. They come up with a counter argument and we are lost. We are totally lost because that will not happen. That's where this liner called connect before we correct. Right? So we all have a common substratum. We are all having these components. So please connect with them in their way. Right? So if they are a female, please connect them in a female fashion. Don't talk your male stories there at all. They would like their patuchira. They like those beads, right? Their jari on the side, that small peacock leaf. They are very interested in that. And dude, please jump into that zone only. That's all. Right? Similarly, kids, they are interested in that particular, Avengers concept. Connect with them only in that direction. That's where the connection starts to happen. There, whereby they give us a space, right, of saying, oh, okay. Then that thing, that illogical thing, the right brain thing, called the prema, the karuna, all connects. And then we can correct. Jab khayenge, piyenge, kuch bhi karenge, it doesn't damn matter. Right? So with that, right? So now let's move on.
One thing, the way you explain the Ram versus Ravan, the battle. And I think that is super fantastic. Actually, I never heard
that is, see, but believe me, whatever I'm talking till now, nothing is original. Everything is copied. Okay. So,
but this one is actually the metaphorically, you shoot the head and the head comes back, shoot the head, it comes back. And then you have to go with the heart. Actually, that's so beautifully said, actually.
That is the only way.
So nicely said.
Yeah, that is the only way. And believe me or not, that is what exactly was happening. Because our friend is saying, no, you know what? And all that. So, no, this is how, if you are capitalist, that is how the startups work, right? This is how you would build the whole thing. And our friend is saying, no, consciousness is the only way you can go forward and all. Array, no. First, you be full. Then you can see on the airplane too, they say, right? You first, that mask you put onto yourself, then you pass it to your kids. No way. So that is why I also have another slide which talks about selflessness is also not the solution, right? Selfishness is also not the solution. The third way called the self-full, right? So self-full, the third alternative. And by the way, there's a book by Steve Covey called The Third Alternative, right? So that I'm a big fan of it again. So that concept where Gandhiji said, right? He could take one side, he could fight right away when he was thrown that from the train out. He could either fight with them right there, made some dharnas and all that, or he got pissed off with those people and said, flight, this is not my place. And he would have just come to India, that's all, back to his farming, whatever. But he questioned, there is something fundamentally not right here, right? So he went beyond his barrister, his lawyer mask that he's wearing, right? That persona, right? So he removed the mask, right? In Latin, the persona means just a mask, that's all. And last 50 years, last 70 years, people are doing this personality development, which is totally wrong, right? Last 200 years back, what was done? It was character development. It is the root cause development that they were working on. So Gandhiji did the same. He removed his mask and said, oh, there's a humanity related problem here. So that's where he put that aside and said, beyond, now I would want to step beyond my role, comfort role, and look for purpose, and suddenly question that. And because he had a mentor, I mean, that also, and that is the whole great thing for all of us. Sriniji is here for us, similarly helping us, So similarly, as long as we hang on to these kind of, folks around who have run with this high prana, right? We are floating, like, I love to get that anchor, somehow anchor to them. Kuch na kuch karo aur pakad lo. whatever. It doesn't matter, a small murti, small mantra, small friend, right? Our Savita ji is hanging on to Kanika ji, just hang on. And Kanika ji is hanging on to deeper anchor. And the people, Rhonda Bryan, if she is hanging on to, the Rhonda Bryan is hanging on to something else, right? So ultimately, we are all hanging to eventually this power source, right? Ultimate power source of the Adi. So this third alternative is the best one. So that's where Gandhiji, once he put that mask aside, then he could think, hey, and then he said, no, this cannot be worked out. So always working in this direction. By the way, sorry, gentlemen, actually, I'm like going crazy and I can talk for hours. My problem is these are 791 slides here. But anyways, to move on to 2-3 slides and then we'll close up. And next session, we'll talk about the me and the mind, right? So what is this me and what is this mind? And I would guide you through a very gentle spaces of some conversation, then some period of silence, of observation, then some talk, and then again some observation, so that we slowly understand, right, on what the questions. Now the questions are all great, but the right questions to be answered, right? Questions like where is God and all, hey, forget about it, right? The components within me are first things to be handled. So looking at the wall, importance is knowing about that wall, its limitations, and then this light that is within me, right? So questioning on all this. Now, so levels of truth, all are true in their own way. Don't you agree? Body, mind, spirit, this is one truth. The other truth is lamp, light, wall. Of course, I have another story where ocean, wave and all. I will not go into this, but I'll bring you to this truth, right? For example, look at a shirt and cloth. Let's compare them. Is when you look at the shirt and when you look very deep, is it a cloth or is it a shirt in the first place? Right? To look at from outward, it is a shirt, but when we look closer, it is a cloth. Agree? But when slowly we move, again the sadhana, slowly we turn our inwardness and say, is it a cloth or is it a thread, a group of threads put together, cross-threading stuff? And slowly it takes some time to understand, yes, no, it is thread. Now again we go into this thread, again the same question with cotton, and then the cotton wins. Right? Again, when we say cotton or the molecules, slowly, right, molecule wins. Then molecule versus atom, atoms win. And when we say atoms or empty space, it is actually empty space. Maybe hardly 96% or they say like 99 point some percentage or 99 point some more percentage is empty space in each atom. That nucleus. And again, we go to the neutron thing and whatnot. See, quarks, boson, whatever. But as soon as I say, hey, shirt versus empty space, you say, Ramakanth ji, kya pagal ho gaya? No, it is only shirt. It cannot be empty space. So this arrow, right? This is where slowly we take that 1% only, right? Let's not break our bones. No comparison here, right? And like the 6 C's of Steve Covey again, no comparing, no competing, no contending, no cynicism, and I have those 6 C's. So just that is what our sadhana is all. And whom do we compare if at all? Just this entity, that's all. No other entity at all. And even that too, no kosna. A lot of us do this. Oh, I hate myself, right? No, right? That's why on our Eastern side, they say, right? You have no freedom to suicide. Why? People say, no, I'm free. I can suicide. Agreed. But because if you suicide, you have to have that 7 janma, the papa of the 7 janmas. That means it is not you, right? So only in our Eastern system is where they say you have no right to suicide, because that entity which is living, you cannot close it, right? And you carry that papa. Right? So with that,
one thought that I have here, one thought that I have. I mean, the first one is going back to this to be able to go see deeply in anything. You know what? That's what we refer to as ekatattva abhyasa.
exactly.
Most of us are stuck in, when we look at a shirt, we don't even grasp the shirt in its entirety.
Not needed. See, Ajnana is very good. By the way, don't make it a big deal too. Let me, again, you brought a very good point. I mean, I'm sorry to cut you out.
Go ahead.
Please hold on to the thought. I wanted to add one more here. By the way, when we go into this, a lot of us make one more mistake, that this jnana, see, for example, Rajas, Tamas, and Sattva, when people talk, they make Sattva a very big deal and very great. But believe me or not, God put all these, I will not say God again, the creator or this universe put every percentage of everything has its own value. The reason being, I know tons of people who meditated and who within 4 hours or 3 hours, they wake up. And I had my own student, right, who had this problem at 1:30 or 2, she wakes up and she cannot sleep throughout the day, because she gets into these deep states of meditation when she gets into meditation. But that troubled her a lot because she was not able to sleep, and because of that reason, she learned Ayurveda, in fact. And today she's a practicing Ayurveda person, by the way. Okay. So what I'm trying to tell you is, tamas in its proportion keeps you numb in the night, and only when you experience no sleep for a couple of days that you can appreciate what that damn sleep means, first of all, in the first place, right? So everything, the ajnana of also has this great, so we don't bow down to only jnana. We bow down to this master, this creator, who has this combination of everything in this universe, right? We bow down to the thorn that he put in that rose plant, equally gratitude towards that flower of the rose that goes into his feet, right? As we grow in this knowledge, we make this gentle, rude behavior that we make ourselves more holier than others. And we make some part of the universe more important than the others, which is not the case, right? Because of ajnana, I'm able to enjoy my mirchi bachchi appropriately. Okay. So please do not, and by the way, this is only for us. Okay. Any of this talk, please do not talk to people outside than us. When we are with a wife, just be a husband. When we are with that kid, you become a kid, whatever. And actually, in further slides, I would show you what
Ramakanth, one aspect of this is, right? The big barometric that I actually use is dukkha. As long as you're in the state of joy, no matter what stream is there, because that's your joy is a good one. The thing that where we have the suffering is, if we can start looking at that seeing oneness in everywhere. It's like, if you look at right now, right, the source of conflicts is people are unable to see skin deep. You get to easily look at it like, that's black, that is this is stuff, because we're already reacting to this initial thing. But if you start practicing to go from the shirt to atom or the empty space, then we're all that one. This practice of oneness is actually something, it has to be cultivated. Right? This is,
for example, I had a question right in the morning. Yeah. I was feeling very shy on one side, right? My wife has been planning to do my dye on this color, on this beard, so many days. I'm not even giving her any chance. And today I was like, I want to really clean off or probably, but suddenly then I asked the right question. I said, what is my purpose on this call? Is it my beard that they are looking for? Or is there some skin deep stuff that they want to reflect, right? For example, me and Sriniji, the other day we met, there was a third gentleman that came and said, oh, Ramakanth, you are so great. Now you can fix my mind. I said, no. I can never fix anybody's mind, but I can do one thing. You are looking into a mirror and that mirror in front of you has a lot of dust. So I help you to clean the dust. I work through you to get the dust cleaned, and I don't clean your mind at all, right? And that is what actually God also is doing with us. With that, back to you, Sriniji. You were saying something.
So I think this is because I think this aspect, going back to what we are actually saying, this tamas and this everything has its own place. And go back to one point that Priyaji was also making. I think we have all this, the jnana of the sense of oneness, where you can actually see yourself, the same divine within you, with the divine in front of you, that we are all nothing but that part of the oneness in aspect. But what has happened is the packaging of that has resulted in the other side of it. It led to the blind ritualistic interpretation, led to superstition, but ultimately it actually leads to dukkha. When the thing is, if the final outcome is dukkha, the suffering, that the packaging is not the right. That's the reason I think Madhusudan Saraswati says, bhaktyabi kalpitam advaitam atisundaram, which is like, you have to be rooted in that sense of oneness and then celebrate the diversity, the duality of all the packages. The bhakti needs to package on top of it. But I think what has happened is this bhakti started becoming more of the duality. The separation has become more and more. Then people started becoming tentative. Okay, if I don't break coconuts to this, then that will happen. If I don't pray to this star, then that something is going to happen. It started captivating us.
See, that is always there, right? That happens because whenever we are looking for shortcuts,
fear.
Exactly.
It comes from the fear.
Fear.
Nobody is telling anything.
Once we are coming
fear
from
is
freedom,
making me do certain things. That's all.
Because the packaging is wrong. The packaging is wrong because the too much of the right. I think the pendulum swung the other way, over-rotate on this devotion without the foundation of the Advaita, the oneness. Then it actually led to superstition.
Not exactly. See, here is the story, right? For example,
I think it's like the elephant. You feel the elephant, and the blind,
exactly.
And you feel each and everyone feels. So the package is same. The elephant is elephant. You can't change that. But whoever touches it, the blind people, out of their own fear, somebody touches the tail and he thinks, "Oh my God, it's a snake." So it's your fear.
Look at this, right?
Look
at this, right? For example. Yeah, no, everything is fine. It is
because you want something from it. That is what people have to learn. Don't do anything because you have some. You will get something out of it, or if I don't do it, something will happen.
Comes from the fear because they're blind. No, it comes from the fear.
No, it doesn't necessarily the fear. It's also raga dvesha.
Fear God.
Either you want it or you. Yeah, sorry.
God does not believe in punishing people. Okay, like a parent, sometimes you need to be tough. You need to, give people a hard time to realize he does that. He is not a sadist, man. He's not going to do horrible things to you because you don't do things.
Yeah. He's not a superintendent or a clerk, right?
Absolutely.
I think it all comes down to the way.
That is the whole definition. Eventually, this Viveka is all about, or the entire Patanjali Yoga Sutras that Sriniji is talking about is simply saying one line. He's saying, dude, you are responsible for your destiny. You unknowingly, in the subconscious, these vrittis you have been building, now you take the same thing and use it the reverse way, right? Wherever you felt sad or hate bhava, you put this capsule onto it, right? With this sandal, this nut, you use this bolt. That's all he said, right? So what wrapper do you use to package?
Actually, the best thing is, I think, Patanjali, I think the two things that I really like made a big change for me. It kind of tilted my perception of the life from the two to four, which is literally realizing who's your identity, which is like, one side of it says like, you're Nitya Sucha Sukhatma, you're nothing but that, right? And then the kleshas are the things, which is like avidya, not having the right perception, avidya, asmita, raga, dvesha, abhinivesha. All these things, the fear, abhinivesha comes in because you identify with the wall. And because most of it is we all get stuck onto the wall. And that is what is the drama being played by the mind and the senses. And I think the root of this is we have to actually walk back to go inward and then identify with the source. And then the life becomes such a beautiful game. It's a game of zero. Actually, this is what they say, right? There is a beautiful game of Chinese game. It's apparently it's one of the greatest strategic game, Go. And that's precisely the game that you are here to play, game of zero. And when you skillfully play the game of zero, when you're playing the game of zero, you don't accumulate anything, you don't lose anything. Praptasya prapti, nivrittasya nivritti. When you start playing the game that way, then it's a celebration. Because at the end of the day, all that is manifested is just a game. But once you transcend this, then you're like Satchit Ananda. There is like pure consciousness. There is no manifestation. You become the Nirgun. You are the Nirgun Brahman. But when you are in that manifestation, you just have to play the game of zero. I think that's I think, you know, when I look at our roots, like Sanatana Dharma, Advaita, and this stuff, the richness of the thought, the way they went deep into the metaphysics, everything is like laid out just one line, Mahavakyas that they say, right? Tattvamasi, Aham Brahmasmi. Which is like, if you just ponder on that, everything becomes like so simple, game of zero.
So I know we are all grihasthas and we don't want to have shockers from our fellow family. So what I'll do is we'll just in the next few minutes, we'll just kind of add some other important slides that I wanted, some infographics that I wanted to show. So this was the levels of truths, right? That's one thing. And what appears as fact is the experience of the I and me is happening is because of the body. If there was no body, then I would not have this experience of I, right? So there's a mistake that is happening. The experience of I/me is happening through the body. It is not because of the body. Okay, we have to catch hold saying this, right? So it is happening through the body. It is not because of the body. And what are we thinking? Because of the body, ये lipstick लगाते हैं इसको ये कर देते हैं, इतना soap लगाते हैं इसको खम्बक उसको ये, you know, whatever. But we are missing the point that it is through and not because. Right? Then look at this another interesting mistake, right? So that is the reason our kids are born through us. Right? We are just a channel. They are not born to us. We are not the source. And the day we realize this, we can never ever yell at any kid, nor spouse, nor anybody, right? Because we understand that the prana, apana, udana, vayus, they work. One works for the eyelids going up and down. One has the elimination thing. So each one does his own job, right? I don't do anything, right? So today when I say, oh, this is my kid, and again, by the way, I'm not saying, right, we all write down saying tomorrow legally, no, I don't belong to nothing. Please don't do this, right? Ramakanth ji said this, whatnot. Abhi main bahar jaunga to mere beevi ek bhod degi mere. And then she says, come on, go. Now she already warned me for two things, right? Something else that she want to get done. So just like the water, let's become transparent. Our job, our life is to become transparent and take the shape of the container that is this phone, right? So that's why when you are with 70-year-olds, you become a 70-year-old. When you are with Austrians, you will become one with the Austrians, right? If you are with a 3-year-old females, you will become one with them. And everything is visible. That's where I think the entire Vibhuti Pada that is talking about comes into place. Right? So now this journey from the mistake to a mystic is called the inner engineering. Right? Is called, right? So am I the collections, the belongings, the projected, the colors, the limitedness, the changing gross, or am I the unchanged? Am I part of the unchanged, or am I the unchanged, unlimited, uncolored, subtlest, pervasive? Right? So change your questions, change your life. That is the brightness because of the wall? Is the brightness because of the light, or is the brightness because of the lamp? The paradigm shift is, am I focusing on the wall, or am I focusing on the lamp? When we do puja, that means we are focusing on the lamp. And whenever we are partying around or yelling around with people, we have to realize that if I eat this biryani, then only I'm happy. Or is it some food that needs to get into my belly that makes me full? Right? And this mistake also, right? We can either make our belly full or to experience the fullness, or we can fill the entire lung with air and feel full. Okay? So that small viveka, it comes, then you will use food when needed and use the air when needed. Right? That's where the pranayama magic happens. So what you focus will expand. And what is the paradigm shift? This avidya, darkness, is when the light identifies, right? Identify the asmita within ourselves with the wall. So whenever we identify ourselves with the wall, this light, whenever it identifies the light, which is nothing but the jivatma, is identifying more about this wall. And like one of them said, right? Kanika ji said, all the health things just fell. How is it possible? Just before that understanding, she was taking so many pills, going around doctors. But why did that magic happen just like that? Because she played around with the subtle aspect of her own self, which is the light aspect, and she moved her direction, looking towards the wall. She started to look at the lamp. Right? So the knowledge, bliss, unlimitedness is when we, the light, remembers, that is with the prajna, that we are part of the lamp. So our prayers are directed to, generally, what do we pray? We say, improve that wall, its colors, its imperfections. Ye wo, jao, we light that lamp. Swami ye karo, Swami wo karo. Instead, our prayer should be saying that, should be to remember that we are part of the lamp. That's the whole change.
So Ramakanth, one thought or a question, right? Which is more like when we clear our subconscious mind, like what Kanika ji said, when you start operating, identifying with the light, and then, some of these dvandvas, like, your health, will automatically improve and all that stuff. But what I would actually say is that's also an expectation, right? Eventually, you transcend, whether even if in this state, even if you become sick, like Ramana Maharshi has a cancerous, whatever thing, but he didn't identify that didn't matter to him. Because
it's
like, so even this, when you are actually moving from the wall to the light, if you're doing that to an identifier of a wall projection, that I'm going to remain healthy or I'm going to live longer, then you're still stuck in the wall.
Exactly. You are absolutely stuck in the wall. And that is where this meditation is, when we will do the next session, where the basis for meditation is on a physical level. Right? We should be relaxed, watching, and non-judgment. Right? These are essentials. And what are the prereqs? A little bit of hungriness, physically dead, and non-expectation. Right? If you do meditation just after we eat, then we get into sleep. We do not get into meditation. Right? Similarly, if you are moving, you may not be able to meditate that great. By the way, moving meditation altogether is different altogether. And again, that will be dealt later. Right? And then expectation, first of all, hey, looks like when I sit in meditation, my thoughts will go low. That itself has to be dropped in the first place. And similarly, judgment about anything, any thought that comes, we are literally non-judgmental. And now looking at the attitude towards thoughts, only 3 things happen to thoughts during meditation. One is, we are in a non-holding and a let-go state of every thought that comes. And we are in a total acceptance whatsoever. There is an iota of calories that are spent going behind any thought. We just accept our past. I mean, when I say thought, it means that all the Purva Janma, Parajanma, this life right now, with all the nasty boss, stupid job, nagging kids, right? Crazy life, we accept everything as is without any resistance, right? So without any non-resistance, neither rejection, neither holding on to any concept, saying, I am a female, I am a male, I am an idiot, I am genius. We are holding on to nothing, so that we are in total acceptance. And once we do that, right, we also stick on to a couple more attitudes, which I will guide you through, where we say, nowhere to go, nothing to get, nothing to do. A state where you do not need to go anywhere, no Manasa Sarovar need to go, no Jyotirlingas that you need to visit, right? No Hanuman temple to go. Right? Nothing to get. I don't need to get the next promotion. I don't need to get, right, any name, any fame. Right? And nothing to do. I don't need to do anything extra to be happy. Right? I am the fountain. Right? So in this attitude, suddenly something magically happens where the ripples automatically fall, and you do not make the thoughts fall. That relationships that are needed in our lives will remain. That need to fall automatically fall. Those jobs that need to come into our lives automatically come. You don't make that jobs to go away or those kind of jobs to come. They automatically happen. And whatever Kanika ji helped us understand about the power of manifestation, automatically, like the ripe fruit, when it is totally ripened, there comes to a subtle point where the weight, gravity cannot hold, and that tree, that last branch cannot hold this fruit, automatically falls down on its own, basically, right? And I will guide you through where we get into a concept of, I want nothing, I will do nothing, and finally, so that I experience I am nothing. So this is one of the very important. Lot of, you go to any internet, YouTube, this, that, everybody will confuse you so much. But this single slide is the thing. Whether you go to Jiddu Krishnamurti ji, you talk about Osho, you talk about transcendental meditation, everybody finally boils down to the Vedanta, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, wherever Bhagavad Gita, they're all talking about, dude, I'm nothing. Right? So moving from somebodyness to nobodyness, and after we kind of, again, like I said, the cloth versus the shirt versus the cotton, you slowly understand that I am everybody. Right? That also happens. That definitely happens. So with that, I'd not like more time. So the other quick slide that is very, very inspiring is this slide, which I don't want to miss, is about the uncoloring of our colored thoughts. So here is the money. And each one of us, when we see money, the meaning of it is different for each one of us. So we are all either we say, I hate money, or we love money, it doesn't matter. The thickness is the same. And the work done for both of them is equally the same. Right? So instead, moving on to the concept of just looking money as money. Similarly, all the fears, whether it is a snake, looking at a rope and feeling it is a snake, or whatever it is, eventually looking at this has its own purpose in this universe. It has its own job to in this big ecosystem. And this is a Saha Mitra, right? This is another friend of mine who is part of me. Right? Similarly, here, happy hour. Some of us who are temple goers have a very aversion against this happy hour. And those happy friends who get together only for happy hour have a great attraction towards it. But the day when we see, hey, it is a place where people come together, have some bottles which have colored liquid in them and have that stuff. See, let's look at this, right? Ramakanth ji with his all this bottu and all this, his thing. If he holds on a bottle of wine, right? People have such a big concern about it, right? But that simple bottle could have had a colored water in it. What a big deal in it, I can't understand, right? So this movement from uncoloring of our colored thoughts to a neutralized state is called Chitta Vritti Nirodha. That's all. So this is all about, just give me 1 second here. So that is the secret here. And this is very great how the Westerners convert yoga also into some slides. So I just very quickly browse through these slides, which are really powerful, which is the 3 stages of awareness, right? One is today our awareness goes outward into the world. Now yoga helps us to train each aspect of these components individually so that our awareness resides back to the source. Right? And this Adibhautika stuff, right? Some of us believe only breath and body are available, our materialists, right? Some hypnosis guys, NLP guys, they get into this conscious mind, this manifestation stuff, and whatever Kanika ji was talking about, consciousness and all that. But now there are some more people, the NLP folks, the neuro-linguistic programming, they get into deeper aspects of, hey, we can change our unconscious mind, and then that runs our world. But for a yogi, basically all these components, so they all, the Oxfords, the Stanfords, they get stuck. There is a big barrier here. They don't talk about the actual observer, the electricity that passes through this bulb, right? It is, right, that identification of the filament in the bulb which tells that, oh, I am the electricity, I am the light giver. No. It is the electricity. It is the observer because of which this entire thing is available. So Adi Bhautika, to Adi Daivika, to Adi Atmika, and then so that we get into our uncoloredness. And this is another slide which talks about moving from the miserableness, the physical realm.
Excuse me, can you please repeat that filament stuff that you just mentioned?
Filament में ये होता है कि, okay, filament में ये होता है actually आज हमने, this is what is happening to us. The filament is nothing but similar to this buddhi, right? Filament thinks that it is, the day filament in the bulb says, it is because of me that the light is happening, right? It is like we all, right? We all say, I am an intelligent guy. Intelligence is me. According to my intelligence, or according to my patenting ideas, right? We all identify all these things as me. This is similar to, right? It is similar to that filament saying that I am because of me is the light, right? So ye jo indriya hai, that is controlled by the manas. Manasastu saha buddhi, yo buddhev paratastu saha. So this passenger is the actual guy for which this buddhi is working for, which this mind is working for. So these are all the components that are working for him. But this guy is not even being used. It is just the buddhi that is thinking, I am intelligent. So as soon as we identify with the buddhi, then we are all lost. All the power within us is lost. Right? So that is the Rathamevathu and all that. So who is driving our chariot? Are the biryanis, whatever the pattuchiras that we think, as soon as we see somebody wearing some gold chain, we want that. Is that what is driving our life? Or is it the mind that is driving our life? Or is this intellect driving our life? But sadly, the passenger is the actual one who is actually moving, who is the real source. That is for which all these others are working for, is not even available. We don't even have a few seconds of awareness of this actual passenger, right? Jo ghar mein hai, what I am leaving my own fountain, my own owned house, and going outward, and then like a beggar I am living. What misery is this, right? See, we all enter, do you all agree that we all enter through the Brahmarandra? So with that, I also, this slide was another powerful one. So in Tripura Rahasya, they talk about this question mark as the Tripura, she who plays all the 3 cities, versus the 3 Puras, the waking city, the dreaming city, and the deep sleep city. In the Prakriti Purusha language, here is called the Purusha, and the rest of it all is called Prakriti. Similarly, in the Maya, Atman, Brahman language, this Atman and Brahman is the question mark part, and rest of the 3 parts is called the Maya. Similarly, the 4th, the Turiya, is called here, and the causal, the gross, and the subtle bodies are these bodies. And similarly, this can be expressed as the waking, dreaming, deep sleep, and the 4th. or the Vaishwanara, the Taijasa, the Prajna, or the Turiya. Or it can also be expressed as the A, the Brahma Tattva, the G, the generator part, U standing for the Vishnu Tattva, the maintenance part, or the O as the operator in the God, and the M called the sound, or the Shiva Tattva, the Laya Tattva, the one that dissolving part of within our own self, right? The dissolving energy within us. The Shiva Tattva.
Sometimes we call that as a transformation also. It is like
exactly.
A transformational power. So dissolving could have a negative connotation for something. It's more of a transformational thing.
Right. And so now what we do is Yoga Sutras of Patanjali leads to yoga by understanding this Prakriti Purusha, and then so that this whole thing penetrates very clean and clear, right? And so that the Nirodha happens on the entire Prakriti, and it is just the Purusha that stands alone. And that can also be done through the contemplation of Vedanta, right? 10 o'clock it's closing. I'm going right now. Okay, thank you.
That's a Prakriti.
They have ordered something. Right there. No, that is okay. So contemplation of Vedanta leads to yoga as well, saying the Atman and the Brahman, right? This is not real. That particular cotton, two atoms to to the subtlest, once we start understanding, this slowly falls down, where this final thing just stays awake throughout, right? So that Atman and Brahman are the same, and that also leads us to yoga. And look at the other fun part, the devotion also of the Tantra or devotion of anything also leads to yoga, because that's where we realize that this honest, be in that honest of her beauty, right? See her in all the waves of that beauty, which reverberates through all the layers. She who plays in all these three cities, the Devi, and her Leela is what is happening. And that also leads us to yoga. So we can use meditation, contemplation, devotion, and use this through moving off from one layer to the subtlest, to the subtlest, to the subtlest, to the eventually nothing is left over, just where the question mark is left over. And that can be also done through contemplation, mantra japa, yoga nidra, or meditation. So that, right? So it is the same path for everybody, but right, it is not exactly the same, because all of us are having different sanskaras. Okay, it is unique path because it is the same for all, but the way they are deepened are different for us. That's why we all have to pick what we have and what we have to play with. Now, the path of renunciation, the sannyasa, or the path of the householder, both lead to the same supremeness. So there is no inferior nor superior. So that, right, your appearance can be easily changed, right? It could be playfully used to support the path, to play the role in the service of others, but none of them is who you really are. Yoga is setting all roles and roles aside, and so that we find the path to find the true self. And being in the world, like of and for life, what our friend has brought up is similar here. Being in the world while not being of the world, seeing the divinity in yourself and the others. So that is the ultimate, so that love is what is left when you let go of all things that you love. Right? There are a lot of things that we love, and we go on letting go of each one of it, and whatever leaves at the last is called love. I would say that is self or soul, whatever. With that, Jai Guru Datta. I'll go on mute and jump onto the mobile call and catch. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Ramakanth ji. So profound.
Yeah,
How you
it was beautiful. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much.
Thank
Actually,
you so much.
I just want to ask one more last very quick thing. All these slides are so meaningful, and I don't think, I have that much understanding, knowledge to get most of it. So if these sessions can keep continue, as far as your, availability, Ramakanth ji, that will be really nice.
Yep.
I mean,
Yep.
it is so, we are so blessed to get this knowledge. So yeah, very humble request.
Sure, absolutely. Whatever Lord has for us as a package, as long as I don't get my backings from my family and I'm able to play all different roles very softly wherever needed. And by the way, God has his own game, so no problem. When this is being delivered, itself means that there is a purpose for this group. There is a purpose for all of us here, and all of us are exactly the same. We need each other to hold, to make sure we all walk to the nothingness within us. With that, Jai.
The 600 charts that that Ramakanth has, when I first looked at it, each one of it is actually almost like the entirety, the one in itself. We can actually just zoom in on one, and then we can actually go all the way to the fourth. So I mean, there's so many infographics how we can actually package it. And so as and when we have this, and the beautiful thing is we have this ongoing satsangs every Tuesday and Saturday. Whenever we have, we can actually come in. And in fact, we started with Kanika ji, and her interpretation, what she is reflecting, is leading to the same truth. Everything is like what we say, right? Ekam sat vipra bahuda vadanti. So we all have experiences. They all lead to the same thing. So as and when it's possible, we can actually zoom in on each one and then reflect upon all these things. So Ramakanth ji, thank you so much for giving us access to that your treasure.
Thanks to Kanika ji for actually setting the stage right, because she was actually covering the substratum that helped us, the Adi Daivika, which runs our world. But all are true. Today,
excellent. Any other closing thoughts? Then we'll do the final prayer, and then we'll continue, pick back up on Saturday.
A big thank you for Srini ji. Srini, seriously, because of you, all this are happening. So yeah, thank you so
thanks
much.
to Srini ji and thanks to Kanika ji, where she has actually
Kanika,
built this substratum for all of us.
No, we don't do anything. We just we are one of the laziest guys. We just put ourselves in there and things just start rolling. I mean,
and for me, Priya, who introduced me to all you souls, so I'm really grateful for her as well. Thank you.
I mean, the thing is, it's so beautiful. My association with Ramakanth ji, I mean, I call him as my Krishna, just like, how you call it. This is like, he just plays by my side, and then, we actually do it. And then it is so, it's just like, it's almost like universe has all this predestined plan, right? All the people that you need, they just come to you. Like Ramakanth ji, Sri Ram ji, and all of you, we all come together for a purpose. And I think, that's what is happening here. That's the Leela. So let's do the final prayer, and then we'll continue again on Saturday. And Pranam, Ramakanth ji, thank you so much for sharing.
Thanks a lot for especially Kanika ji to set up that stage for us to talk further. So yeah, we beg, pray, all our Sadgurus, all our Maharshis, the Sanatana lineage for which we are Varasa, right? We are especially the Bharata. We are coming from that physical region, which is the Deva Bhumi, which is the Jnana Bhumi. And we today somehow are so in poverty of that same knowledge for which we don't do anything. All we need to do is just sit and watch, like the fun, instead of watching outside. We watch that.
And in fact, that last one that you said, that has been the purpose for Vivekananda and the purpose for Gandhi, and they tried contemplating on the source of all this knowledge is now caught in some level of darkness, and I think now we being the ambassadors with the opportunity to revive our own roots and connect with our own roots, and all over the world. So Om Sarve Bhavantu Sukhinah, Sarve Santu Niramayaha, Sarve Bhadrani Pashyantu, Ma Kasid Dukkha Bhag Bhavet, Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Everybody, rub your palms. Generate the fire of knowledge. Top your eyes. You transmit this divine knowledge to our eyes. To give us the right vision, right perception, to see the things the way they are. Slowly and gently, with a bright smile, open your eyes. And see you all. Have a wonderful week, and we'll see you again on Saturday. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Srini
Thank
ji.
you.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
Good night.
Ramakanth ji.
Good night.
Thank you, Kanika ji. Everyone, thanks.